Today's video is going to be pretty relaxed. I'm going to try and channel my inner OzTalks hardware here. Now initially I was going to do just single core gaming Intel versus AMD edition, but the testing for that takes shockingly long because of how slow those configurations are with one core. So I had to do an alternative video idea. Subscribe if you want to see that though, because that's coming out next week. So for today's video, I'm going to open up this 2-year-old Dell XPS 15, which it's starting to behave really weirdly. It's starting to behave a bit like it's kind of nursing a drug addiction under the radar without its family members knowing. So yeah, maybe it's thermally throttling because it's got stock 2-year-old Dell thermal paste on there. So I'm going to repaste it, clean it up, and see if we can fix the issues with this laptop. This laptop is about 2 years old at this point, but it's still got some pretty hefty specs in it. It's got an i7-8750H, which is a 6-core 12-thread mobile CPU, and then it's got a GTX 1050 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM, so it's not a gaming machine, especially considering the fact that this has the 4K touchscreen in it, but that display is probably the most beautiful display I've ever seen on a device. It really is spectacular. Although it does need some maintenance. It throttles pretty much immediately just opening applications on the desktop and stuff, which is really weird. And I think almost all of that has to do with the fact that this still has this stock thermal paste on it. That thermal paste, quite frankly, on the best of days is a bit of an embarrassment. So yeah, hopefully a new fresh bit of thermal paste will help fix that. I'll also clean out any dust and stuff like that. And as you can see, except for a little bit of dirt, for a 2-year-old laptop, it is in pristine condition. Oh, this is the wrong hex screw size. Let's see. There we go. So the hex size is T5 screw size. That is a very, it doesn't feel like a very strong screw head, so you kind of want to do it very gently when you open it up so that you don't strip anything. I quite like that they hide all of this information under this little door. It keeps the design nice and clean. And there we go. There is the inside of this laptop. And for a 2-year-old laptop, it's not that dirty inside, actually. You know, you can see there's a bit of like dust and debris building up there, but when I take this off, I'll clean that out a bit better. But it actually looks a bit better than I was expecting. So with that, let me just start taking out screws and see what happens. I'm curious to see how easy it is to clean this bad boy. More screws. Here's one that looks like it's involved. Oh, what's this? Is this like a warranty void if removed screw situation here? Not that that really matters, because it is a 2-year-old laptop at this point, so its warranty isn't really applicable anymore. Yes, there is a screw under there. It's the thing. If you can't get something off on a laptop, just look under bits of tape. So that's where they always hide it. They actually make it really easy for you to upgrade stuff. I mean, yeah, you've got easy access to the M.2 drive. I don't see an extra one. I think there is just one drive on this laptop, but that's not too bad. You've got easy access to both RAM slots, so that's nice as well. You've got access to the Wi-Fi card. Yeah, so they're not like artificially restricting upgradability options on this laptop as much as some other ones. So that's always really nice to see. Okay, so we've got all the screws off. Let's see if we can... I've got all the obvious screws off. Let me put it like that. So let's see if we can just lift this stuff off. Oh, that's routed in through there. Okay, so here. Oh no, they've got one of these connectors. These kinds of connectors I really hate, because they're usually a massive pain in the butt to get back in. But let's see. Oh, that was actually really easy to get out. Never mind, I take that back. Yeah, there's not that much dust. I mean, there is a little, oh, okay, yeah, there is some dust in here. There is definitely some dust in here. It's just a little bit of fluff though, but that still blocks stuff up. Okay, so this one looks like it's got about the same amount of peach fluff in there as the other one. It's not too bad, actually. After 2 years, that's pretty clean, I have to admit. It's not been the most heavily used laptop. In all honesty, it was about 5 months where it was used very heavily, and then after that, it's just been kind of like a backup computing device. But yeah, still, it's much cleaner than I thought it was gonna be. I'm curious to see what the thermal paste looks like under this whole setup here. So it's stuck down a little. Oh, there we go. That was nice and easy. And that is what the thermal paste looks like. It's actually not that bad. For a 2-year-old laptop, that's better than I was expecting. And especially considering the fact that this is just the stock thermal paste. I mean, it's not in ideal condition. It'll definitely help a lot repasting it. But yeah, it's a bit better than I was expecting. So let's clean it off and repaste it, put it all together, and see if that made a difference. Cleaning this stuff off is always really easy. I just use a bit of isopropyl alcohol with just paper towel. Then you kind of gently clean it off. And then Q-tips work really well for cleaning up around the actual die. That's much more difficult to get to. But just be careful so that you don't damage anything accidentally. That thermal paste is actually very dry. We've got a couple of stains on the copper here that I can't really get off. I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's always nice to get it as clean as possible, but it doesn't really matter that much. I'm definitely one of the fuck it, that'll do types of people when it comes to this kind of stuff. What always blows my mind about these laptops is how tiny their cooling solutions are. There's just these 2 small bits of aluminium fin array with 2 heat pipes. And that's what you use to cool a GPU and a CPU. It's no wonder this stuff just always overheats. But I mean, it's such a small laptop, you know, there's not space for better cooling. And then as far as airflow goes, that's about it. You've got these two little cutouts here, and then there's a bit of space out the back of the laptop as well. So again, it's no surprise these things overheat so easily because there's just so little room for cooling. That is quite a lot of thermal paste for the die size. I may actually lift some of that off. And now you just kind of line it up and drop it down. There we go. And then just screw it down, close everything up, and then you're good. Okay. There we go. So that should be making decent contact. Okay, the next step, I'm just going to kind of reinstall these little fans. I actually very rarely work with laptops. This is like the 3rd time in my life I've been inside a laptop. So yeah, everything's so much more fiddly in here than it is on the inside of a full-sized system. Watch me break this connector as I try and plug it back in. Okay, is that the wrong way around? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the right way around. It's just refusing to go in. It's just refusing to go in. I mean, that feels like it's more pressure than you should be putting on. Did I like break it taking it out? Let's try the other side and see if that's more forgiving. They're on the right side, right? Yeah, I mean the screw holes line up. Like they're on the right part of the thing. Oh, I'm so dumb. Been struggling for like what, 15 minutes, and then look at that. It was just the wrong way around. Look at how easily that went in, like a spring breeze into a tunnel full of angels. Why is the way that it's supposed to go in around the most inconvenient way to get the connector in? Like, it's situated in a way that makes it seem like the way I was trying was the correct way, because it was the path of least resistance. But that's also why you should pay a lot of attention when you're taking it apart. You shouldn't be like me, where you zone out and dream about frolicking in fields full of unicorns or whatever while you're busy taking the thing apart. But see, like this one, the connector, it just feels more unconsensual when it comes to the actual direction of the connector. And there's me making excuses for me being stupid. Okay, so that's plugged in. They're both plugged in now. Hopefully I didn't damage a connector or anything like that during that process. But yeah, there we go. Now I'm gonna screw everything back on and then see what kind of temperature difference we get from just doing this little thing. Let's see what happens when we launch IDA 64. So when I launched IDA 64 before, the moment I started it, it would hit like 100 degrees Celsius and then thermally throttle. And then the fans would like slowly kick in and alleviate the thermal situation. Let's just say start and see if it immediately throttles like before. That is definitely better. The fans haven't ramped up yet, but at this point it was thermally throttling before. It's just not throttling. I think it just doesn't need to go any louder. I think that's why it's not ramping up more. Let me actually just get my microphone closer to it. Like, that's better. Look at that. I actually helped. I fixed a tech thing. Shouldn't sound that excited about that, actually. Okay, now it's starting to kick up to the point that it immediately went to before the repaste. So let me again just, here's a... It's getting jet turbine levels noisy here, but it's taken much longer to get there. After about, 37 minutes now, we're getting pretty good temperatures here. So that was such an easy fix. Hopefully the laptop behaves a bit better now, because, you know, when it starts thermally throttling when you just open applications, that really destroys the desktop usability of the system. And with that, when it comes to extended loads, we had about a 6 degrees Celsius drop in CPU package temperature, which is pretty good for just a repaste. But that's not even the thing that we're the most excited about. The fact that it doesn't just immediately throttle constantly while opening desktop applications. That's exactly what we wanted to fix, and that quick repaste did that. So yeah, if you enjoyed watching me just struggle to repaste some random bit of tech stuff, do like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Next week on Wednesday, I'll have that single core Intel versus AMD video come out. And I think those results so far seem really interesting, so I can't wait to get to finish up with that video. So until the next video, bye-bye.